Most people thought the Season 3 reunion of The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives would be dramatic, but no one expected it to erupt into the kind of chaos that spilled from the stage to social media and even into other shows. What viewers saw on screen was explosive enough, but the real story came from the tension that had been simmering for weeks, long before anyone sat down under those bright studio lights. And by the end of the night, friendships were fractured, accusations were flying from every direction, and entire online communities were left asking who was actually telling the truth. Even before the reunion aired, the drama was already building like pressure in a sealed bottle. Fans had watched Day and Jesse take subtle and not so subtle shots at each other on Instagram stories and TikTok comments. Every time one of them posted something that hinted at the season's drama, the other seemed to respond just hours later. What started as vague shade quickly turned into direct, unmistakable jabs, and fans were convinced something serious had gone down off camera. Meanwhile, Marciano, who had already become one of the most controversial figures of the season, kept inserting himself into the conversation, responding to accusations and reposting supportive comments like it was his full-time job. Rumors suggest he was privately telling people he planned to clear the record at the reunion, which only added fuel to the fire. But everything shifted the moment someone unexpected joined the conversation. Lisa Vanderpump. She stepped in publicly, backing Marciano in a way that caught everyone off guard. According to Lisa, she had seen every ounce of Vanderpump Villa footage, meaning she had watched every interaction between Marciano and Day. And based on that footage, she implied that Day's version of events didn't line up with what actually happened. That one comment changed the entire conversation. Fans began speculating about unseen clips, private exchanges, and whether the cast had withheld details. Some believed Lisa completely. Others questioned whether she was protecting Marciano for reasons of her own. But one thing was clear. The drama wasn't just on Hulu anymore. It was now spilling across different shows, fandoms, and platforms. By the time the reunion finally aired, tensions were so high that the cast barely seemed able to look at each other without something setting them off. And the first issue on the table was the now infamous question of whether Day had crossed the line with Marciano. Day insisted, firmly, that she never kissed him, never sat on his lap, and never went beyond what she considered harmless friendliness. But Jen wasn't buying it. She claimed she saw Day acting in a way that didn't look innocent, insisting she witnessed flirting, touching, and what she called googly eyes. Brett backed his wife immediately, demanding to know why Jen was exaggerating the situation. Jen clarified that no, she never saw a kiss, but she saw enough to feel uncomfortable for a married woman. This instantly turned into a three-way standoff, each person defending their perspective while the rest of the cast watched, stunned at how quickly things escalated. What viewers didn't see until later was how deeply this situation affected Day. When Dakota was scheduled to make his appearance, he reportedly demanded that the moms leave the set before he walked out. So the moms stepped backstage, and that's when Day broke down. She told producers she felt like no one believed her, that she was being painted as someone she wasn't, and that the accusations were destroying her reputation. She begged to go home, overwhelmed and exhausted. It was one of the rawest moments of the reunion. And it happened completely off camera until the network released a small portion of it during the episode. And if that wasn't messy enough, previously unseen audio from Jesse and Marciano's private conversation aired next. Fans were stunned to hear Jesse telling Marciano that she loved him and that she planned to leave her husband. Jordan, her husband, looked blindsided. He immediately confronted Jesse, asking why she told Marciano she was leaving him. Jesse insisted she said she was leaving her husband, but not for Marciano. But the audio didn't stop there. Marciano repeated his claim that he and Jesse had slept together, and Jesse fired back that it never happened. She admitted to kissing him but denied anything physical beyond that. The entire cast looked stunned, and fans online instantly began dissecting every moment, debating who was lying and who was protecting themselves. Some felt Marciano was exaggerating to look like the season's star troublemaker. Others believed Jesse was downplaying the situation to protect her marriage. But almost everyone agreed. That conversation changed the entire tone of the reunion. After all that drama, the energy in the room was already volatile. But nothing prepared the cast for what happened when Dakota finally took the stage. His relationship with Taylor has been strained for a long time, but this was different. Things exploded the moment her parents came out. They confronted him directly, saying they refused to accept his apology for those alleged messages he sent to a family friend while Taylor was pregnant. Her father went as far as saying he couldn't believe a single thing Dakota said because it was all BS. Dakota tried to defend himself, but the tension was too thick to cut through. Taylor added that he promised to change after the last reunion, and he didn't, which is why they still weren't together. Then came the moment that set Dakota off. Taylor mentioned feeling bad that he was the father of her baby. She wasn't saying he was a bad dad, just that their relationship had been so painful that she wished the situation had been different. But Dakota took it personally, storming off the set, shouting that she was attacking his identity as a father. That meltdown became one of the most talked about moments of the entire reunion. And in a bizarre twist, after all the screaming, crying, accusations, and stormouts, the episode ended with a cheerful holiday send-off, leaving viewers joking online about the emotional whiplash. As the reunion aired, fans were quick to point out that the episode felt incredibly rushed. Viewers complained that the hour-long runtime barely scratched the surface of everything going on, especially since the Marciano, Jesse, and Day storyline overshadowed almost everyone else. Many wanted Whitney to have more airtime, especially since her life had dramatically changed in recent months. She barely spoke during the reunion, yet she became one of the most discussed moms online right afterward. That's because Whitney's career has suddenly taken a massive turn. After her run on Dancing with the Stars, she was announced as the next Roxy Hart in Chicago on Broadway. And not only that, she revealed she'd been cast in a movie as well. So while other cast members were dealing with scandals, Whitney was out there booking major roles. But with success came controversy. Nick, who hosted previous reunions, wasn't hosting this one, claiming he couldn't do to hosting a new Netflix dating show. But fans weren't convinced. Many pointed out that Nick never hid the fact that he wasn't a fan of Whitney. People felt he had a grudge against her, and that he was harsher with her than anyone else last season. When the moms told this season's host, Stacy, that they appreciated her fairness, some viewers saw that as subtle shade aimed at Nick. Then things escalated further when Nick and his wife Natalie discussed Whitney on their podcast. They questioned how she could balance motherhood with Broadway, raising 3 kids, and taking acting roles across the country. Viewers immediately labeled it mom-shaming, pointing out that Nick didn't ask these questions about Taylor Frankie Paul when she was announced as the Bachelorette, even though she also has 3 kids. Fans felt Nick's comments were hypocritical at best, and targeted at worst. The backlash grew so loud that even Trisha Paytas stepped in to defend Whitney. She slammed the idea that women should be questioned for taking opportunities while having children, calling it outdated and rooted in jealousy. She pointed out that men can travel for months for work without anyone questioning their parenting, so why was Whitney being treated differently? Trisha's comments went viral, adding another layer to the ongoing feud between Whitney and the Nicks. People also started resurfacing old clips of Nick joking about Whitney's hospital video, a moment that had already caused controversy at the time. Fans felt his joking tone hinted at something personal, and this only added more suspicion that he genuinely disliked her. The more people dug, the more evidence they found that Nick seemed to hold Whitney to a different standard than the other moms. With all these shifting alliances, clashing personalities, and unresolved tensions, the world of Mormon wives has never been more chaotic. What was meant to be a simple reunion turned into a domino effect of drama that stretched far beyond the episode itself. Allegations turned into deeper divides, private conversations became public scandals, and online communities erupted with theories about what really happened behind the scenes. And as the cast continues posting cryptic comments and back-and-forth shade online, fans are convinced that the story is far from over. Season 3 may be done, but the fallout is still unfolding in real time. New rumors keep emerging, Relationships keep shifting, and the cast keeps dropping hints that more revelations could be coming. If this reunion proved anything, it's that in the world of Mormon wives, nothing stays buried. And the truth is always more complicated than it looks.